Dr. Mindy here, and I'm going to answer literally the most common question I get about fasting. The most common. And that is, will coffee pull me out of a fasted state? I'm going to answer that in the most simplistic way I possibly can.
Pioneer in the fasting
Do a long fast one day, your blood sugar going up and down. We're in it together. For starters, I don't know if y'all can see this. This is my favorite cup. One of my team members gave it to me years ago, and it says, I'm trying to be awesome today, but I'm exhausted from being so freaking awesome yesterday. So for starters, the key to having a good cup of coffee in the morning is getting the right message down. I'm gonna start with that. But beyond that, what I want you coffee drinkers to know when it comes to fasting is that there's some rules you need to follow. Ready for them? First, it has to not raise your blood sugar. Okay, now this is weird because it may raise your blood sugar and not mine. So I want to make sure that you understand that this is a bio-individual process. I can't tell you an absolute here. So test it on your blood sugar. How do you test it? You take a blood sugar reading, you drink your cup of coffee, and then you take another reading an hour later. Are those two readings about the same? If they are, it did not pull you out of a fasted state. If that number goes lower, the second number goes lower than the first number, it may have even put you more into a fasted state. What I'm going to show you about coffee right now, you're going to see that it may actually be a tool to drive you deeper into a fat burning place. So that's the blood sugar test. If your blood sugar raises about 5 points or higher, it's moving towards moving you out of a fasted state. 10 points or higher definitely moved you out. Now, I know that I have a worldwide audience, so some of you have different numbers of measurements for that blood sugar than we do here in America. But I'm going to go with the American numbers, and I'm going to give you an example. Would be like if your blood sugar was 70 when you woke up, you drank your cup of coffee, and then an hour later it was 80, you've pulled yourself out of a fasted state. If it was 70, you drink your cup of coffee, an hour later it's at 75. Ooh, that's kind of sort of in the middle. If you drink it and it's still 70 in that an hour afterwards or lower, it's actually helping your fasting efforts. So that is the first way to test it. Now, what type of coffee do you want to have? Okay, I'm going to show you some of my favorite to have. For starters, the second rule to the coffee in the fasted window theory is that you've got to have it be clean coffee. So coffee has a lot of pesticides in it. It has a lot of chemicals. And so we want to make sure that you're always having clean coffee. On my website, you can find a ton of my favorite clean coffees. Here in my house, I just pulled out, I sometimes do a cold brew in the morning, or I'll heat it up with a little water. Or our favorite coffee company is called Cosmic Coffee. They do ship here in America. We know the people that make it, which is really important to us. We like to shop local. We like to know who our farmers are. We like to know who our baristas are, our coffee blend. People who are passionate about the food that we're making is important to us. So I just know that Carlos and Jolene are super passionate about their coffee and that it's clean, mold-free, no pesticides. So I feel pretty good drinking this in the morning. We have other brands too on our webpage that we vetted for you. Okay, third rule. You are going to want to put some fat in it. So this is really important because it will move you over into that fat burning system better. And the first fat I would recommend is MCT oil. It is actually known to move you quicker into a ketogenic state. Now, I've sat with a lot of people who have asked me, well, I don't really drink coffee, but I want to move over to fat burning faster. Should I think about drinking coffee? And the answer is no. I'm not trying to start any coffee habits here for people, but I do want you to know that organic MCT oil is a facilitator of ketones. It will help you produce ketones. So if you're not going to put it in coffee, You could put it in water. I've had people do that in the morning. You could put it in tea. But the reason for that is it will help you move into fat burning. It will help you get into that ketogenic state quicker, which will lower your hunger and heighten your mental clarity. So that's MCT oil. The other one thing that's really popular is butter. Right? So a lot of people were putting a lot of butter in their coffee years ago. I don't know and some people I know are still blending it in the blender. That's fine. For me, this is one of my favorite. This Himalayan pink salt ghee is really good. It's put out by Forth and Hearth. We'll leave all the links for this. So sometimes I'll put this in there. I'm a salt fan. So that might be why I like the salted Himalayan pink salt. But putting a little bit of butter in it also will help facilitate you over into this fat burning state. Now, what about cream? We get asked that a lot. So if you're going to do cream, my first preference is to do raw cream. And our favorite is by Raw Farm. And they do ship here in America to selected states. Not every state here in America allows for raw cream, but I will leave the link for you for that. But I like raw cream because it has enzymes and probiotics that help my microbiome. And often when I put raw cream with a little MCT oil and some clean coffee in my cup, that's kind of my go-to in the morning, I not only feel more mentally clear, but I do notice that ketones come quicker. So now, every once in a while I don't have my raw cream and I have to use pasteurized organic cream. That's not as good because really pasteurized milk is dead food. They heated it up, there's no enzymes, there's no probiotics. So that's not great. So you might want to avoid that pasteurized milk, but every once in a while I do it. I prefer the raw. So those are kind of the go-tos when it comes to coffee. Oh, I know another one that a lot of you like to put in is collagen powder. I've now put that in my eating window because I do feel like for me, it can pull me out of that fasted state. It also has a tendency to take me out of autophagy. So I'm using it to break my fast these days. So I don't put collagen powder in anymore. I save it for my eating window. But coffee in general, I know a lot of you, especially women, you're concerned about it for hormones. I think you just it's personal preference. You got to decide. I think Starbucks every day would be hard on your liver. It'd be hard on your hormones. But when we're doing clean coffee in a very intentional way, like I just described to you, I think you'll find that your hormones will be well preserved. I'll let you know a little secret. We're working with some coffee companies right now to see if we can add some hormonal adaptogens into coffee, so that you're getting the benefits of coffee plus you're getting some really cool nutrients that support hormones. So stay tuned on that one. But overall, I'm a fan of coffee and I like it for fasting. I think it is like that crutch. I mean, how many of us have held on to our cup of coffee, like trying to make it through another hour of fasting? So many of us have done that. And when you do it the way I just showed you, I think you'll notice that it works really well. But as always, you got to test it on you. So I hope that helps. Let me know any questions you have. If you have any good coffee hacks, we are a community here, so put them in the notes. Let me know if you pre-ordered the book. I just really appreciate all the love so many of you have been giving me. And if you haven't pre-ordered the book, you can go to fastlikeagirl.com and you can pre-order it and you can win a Dutch test and a consult with my health coach to interpret that Dutch test and tell you what to do. But as always, you're the miracle. The coffee's not the miracle. The fasting's not the miracle. You're the miracle. And when you dive into how all this stuff works, you start to see just how miraculous your body was built to be. Hope that helps.